What is up, guys? This is episode 12. And then if you haven't checked out the last episode where we did the React mind mapping, go ahead and check that out. I will link to it in the little info card area, or I will link it in the description. Um, in this episode, I want to start by setting up the project real quick. I want to install the packages that we need to work with. Also, um, get our folders up and running. Get our folders to where we want it to be and get that going. Okay, so it's gonna be a short video, but that's what I want to do in this one to get the process started. Okay, so I got the project open right here. It might look bare, but the only thing I did was I just deleted everything that was out of there. All the basic React code that comes with it, the dummy code that comes with it. I just deleted everything, so it looks like it's empty. It's starting from fresh, just scratch. That's where it's starting from right now, so that's why it looks empty. Um, I got the terminal pulled up. I got the server going. I started the server. I just opened up the project. Well, I CD'd into the project on here, and then you make sure you have to CD into the client folder, and then do yarn start. So you're not yarn starting on the server, you're doing it on the client. So make sure you're in the client when you're running your yarn start and installing all of your packages. Alright, so I got the server going on this side. I'm going to have installing packages on this side. Alright, so the first thing I want to do, the packages that we need to install, I put them on the mind map. I added a few. Um, Apollo Boost. I think that's the one I didn't add. It's Apollo Boost, and then GraphQL separately, Editor.js. I don't know why I have GraphQL twice. I shouldn't have GraphQL twice. GraphQL, okay. So those are the main three that we need to install. So to make sure I'm installing those correctly, let me go to their sites. So Editor.js for the first one. Editor.js is is the editor that we're going to be using. It's similar to how the editor looks in EverNote, the actual EverNote app. It's similar to how that looks. So we're going to use a similar version, and it's called Editor.js. So we'll get into how that looks and what that does and all that stuff in future episodes, okay? We'll just need to install this. So let me go back up here and get started. Um, okay, so we just run that yarn one in our terminal. Make sure in the client, and then yarn add that. The next thing we need to add is what is it? Apollo Boost. Now, Apollo Boost, I've heard that it's super duper easy to implement React with GraphQL and talking to the GraphQL server from React, and it just combines every little thing that you ever would need to do separately. Apollo Boost combines it all, and you can just install Apollo Boost, and it just does it all for you. So I've heard. So Apollo Boost is like really good. So we're gonna need to install that. So we can just do actually all of this right here: Apollo Boost, and then React Apollo, and then GraphQL on the front end. Okay, this is the front end version, and then I don't want you to get that confused with the back end version, because this is the front end version, the GraphQL for this one. So we're gonna do yarn add again. Yarn add Apollo Boost React Apollo. If I can spell Apollo right. And GraphQL by itself. Like that. Alright, so we got those. Getting those installed. I think those are all the packages that we need. Yeah, so far, those are the only packages we need. Okay. So the last thing I want to do is get all the folders set up so we won't have to worry about doing that in the next episode. So how I want this going is that in the source folder, we're going to have a components folder, right? And the components are going to be all the components that we're going to be working with. If we look at our mind map, the components are going to be the sidebar, the editor, and the login and register modals. Okay, so it's not like navigation, because we're going to use a link for our login and register. Like if you click the login link, it'll show the login modal and all that good stuff. So it's not really a navigation type thing going on there, but I just called it that. So all that's going to be in the components folder, and then we're going to create another folder that's called pages. Well, I should just call it page, but I'll just call it pages. Now the pages are going to hold all of the components. So the pages most likely won't have any data, at least I don't think. It'll just be holding all of the components and structuring it in a way where it looks good. Okay, so that's what the pages are going to do. So start with the components. In the components, we're going to have our sidebar. That was one of the components. Sidebar component. Okay. And then we're going to have our editor. We're going to have the editor as a component. And then we're going to have our login modal as a component. And the register, because they're going to be different. The login and the register, of course. So we're going to have our register. Register modal. Okay, when I say modal, these are the actual pop-up modals that come up, but it's going to be in a form like, and we're going to create all of that from scratch. So that's what the modal is. We're not going to use no third-party package to do a modal. It's unnecessary. We can do one from scratch, and I'll show you how to do that, all of that. So that's all I want in the component section, okay? These are all the components that we're going to be working with. Now in the pages is just going to have one page. I should have just called it page, but it's going to have a home page, okay? Now the home page, like I said, is going to be the one that imports all of the components in where it needs to be and all of that good stuff, okay? So that's the home page. Now the very last thing I want to do is create the CSS files. So for the home page, it's going to have some custom CSS in it, which they're going to be using Tailwind, but we're still going to have some custom CSS. These are going to have some custom CSS as well, but I probably won't import them here because it's like maybe not type of thing, because like I said, I am going to be using Tailwind. So some of these components might use custom CSS, some of them not. So I don't want to add them in there, and if we don't use them, so I'll just leave the home in there. The next thing, what is the next thing? Was that it? I think that was it. First, let me see if I cleaned it up. Okay, I got the app. Now the app is what's going to render the home page. Okay. Home. If it auto imports, no, it didn't. It didn't auto import. I thought it was going to auto import. So if I auto import this home from /pages/home, it's going to render the home component, because you know the app component is the main one. So it's going to render our home, and our home is going to render all of our other component things that we need, okay? So I want to make sure this is all working before I end the video. Oh, it won't show up, okay. So let me go ahead and put some boilerplate code in here. I am going to be using React Contacts API and hooks and all that good stuff, okay? So I'm going to be using what's new in React, okay? I'm going to be using the newer version of React. Alright, just to let you guys know that. The latest release of React. That's what I'm going to be doing in this one. Alright? So everything is, I think if I believe so, every component is going to be a functional component. It's not going to be classes and everything. Because now functional components are becoming a thing now. So I'm going with the flow on this one. Export default. I'm gonna export the home down here. And I'll just say I'm the home to wrap this up. Now this should show in here because we got the home component, so this is what it should show. Delete all of that. Okay. Let's see. There we go. We got I am the home. So that's all I wanted to do in this video. We got the server going, got everything wrapped up, got our packages installed, which is good. So in the next one, we're going to be diving into the layout and getting the sidebar in place and getting the editor in place, and we're going to do some other stuff like that. It's going to be responsive, so it's going to have a mobile version and then the web version and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to be working on in the next episode. And that's all I want to do in this episode. So if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and hit that like button. And I will see you guys in the next one.